Super Shrek Progress. Chapter 1. Shrek leaves his love. Shrek was depressed. He had to leave his one true love, Shadow the Hedgehog. Wait, Shrek, don't go. I'm sorry, but my time here is over. He drove his Shrekmobile to the local tavern to drown his sorrows in alcohol. After that, who knew what he was going to do to himself? He entered the bar, solemnly greeted all the regulars, and asked the bartender to give him shots of the strongest stuff they had. He didn't want to remember this night. It's not easy being green, eh? A voice chimed in. It was the bartender who Shrek had just now noticed seemed to be a plumber as well. I can't help but ogre, laddie. Oh, no, here's what he's going for. I can't help but agree, laddie, Shrek drunkenly replied. Look at you, the bartending plumber said. You're sitting here all alone on a Saturday night, You don't seem like all of these other drunkards. What brings you here? The plumber inquired. To be honest, I had to leave my one and only love, Shadow, Shrek said. Why's that? I just had to. Things just weren't meeting my Shrek expectations, the benevolent ogre replied. The worst part is, I had to leave Junior as well. A single waxy tear rolled down from his eye. The plumber pondered this matter for a moment, and then an idea struck him. Well, do you need a place to stay? He asked Shrek. Yes, preferably as swamp-like as possible, laddie. He sniveled a bit. I'm sorry, this is just so overwhelming for me. No, it's a no big deal. Well, if you need a place to stay, I'll ask my bro if we can rent out our guest room to you, the plumber said. That would be very undrek, our ogre friend replied. Sorry, I didn't catch your name, Letta. Who are you? It's me, Luigi, the plumber replied. Oh, well, I'm Shrek, the ogre replied. I get off in about an hour and a half. Let's meet out in the front then, Luigi said. All right, ladda, Shrek said. 30 minutes later, Luigi's shift was over, and he proceeded to lead Shrek to his house. It was a quaint cabin located near the woods, but to Shrek's disappointment, there wasn't anything like a swamp to be seen for miles. This place could use a little bit more of an ogre's touch, Shrek thought. Maybe an onion garden or two. Oh well, I guess it'll have to do for now. They pulled up to the curb and walked towards the front porch. This is a nice place you got here, ladda, Shrek said. It could use a massive ogre load of swamp elements, though. You think so, eh? Luigi replied. Just then, the front door opened. It was none other than the famous Mario. Upon seeing Shrek, he pulled Luigi aside. Luigi, he asked. Who's that big green guy? Oh, that's a Shrek, Luigi replied. He's looking for a place to stay, so I thought we could rent out that old guest room to him. Okay then. Mario turned to Shrek. He hated to be unwelcoming, so he said, You can stay here as long as you like, Shrek. Thanks, you're a real good brogue, you know that? Shrek asked. Mario just stared at him, unsure of what to say next. Okay, well, come inside then. I'll show you the guest room, he said. Shrek gleefully charged into the house. Luigi followed suit. Mario just stood there on the porch, still baffled about what he just allowed to happen.
Don't get on an ogre's bad side.
I'm glad you're enjoying this, young, because we got 4 more chapters.
This is actually really messed up.
Everything's messed up. I mean, that may be the best first line of anything, since, like, call me Ishmael.
Maybe that was a little harsh.
Chapter 2, Shrek leaps into action. Mario led Shrek into the guest room, much to Shrek's delight. There was moss growing on the walls, and there was a damp patch on the ceiling. Very swamp-like indeed. Sorry about this mess, Mario said. We haven't been in this room for ages. That's not a problem for me, ladda, Shrek replied. He had already started settling into the filth. Thanks for taking me in, by the way. You're welcome, I guess, Mario said. He shrugged and left the room. Well, Shrek, do you need anything? Luigi asked. You got any onions around here? Sorry, we don't. That's quite all right, ladda. I'll just plant my own. Shrek pulled some onion seeds from his pocket. Every ogre knows to never leave home without them, and planted them in the various moss patches around the room. There, that'll do. Well, all right. If you're settled in, I'm gonna go to sleep. I've been working hard lately. Good night, Shrek, Luigi said. Have a sweet slumber, Broger, Shrek replied. The next morning, Shrek heard many distraught cries outside the house, and being the good Samaritan he was, he leapt out the window to see what was going on. There were many mushroom people running around, crying out for help. It was none other than Bowser, flying around in a car with a face that reminded Shrek of the time he dated that carnival prostitute commanding a bunch of Coopers. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're not going back to look at that sentence. Gwahaha, Bowser roared. Soon your kingdom will be nothing but rubble, and, more rubble. Gwahaha! Shrek saw the Mario brothers leap into action as they made short work of Bowser's lackeys. Well, I can't just let these guys do this on their own, Shrek thought. I'm their guest. Might as well help them out. And with that, Shrek started into action. He grabbed one of the upturned Koopa shells expelled in the fight and hurled it as Bowser. It knocked him smack into a tree, blowing up his vehicle in a nanosecond. A new personal record for Shrek. Try messing with my brogers, eh? Not on my watch, he proudly proclaimed. Was all the response Shrek got. Whoa, Mario said. That was truly amazing. Magical things can happen when you keep yourself on a strict diet of onions and the tears of pathetic little Farquaad's, ladda, Shrek replied. Luigi, at this moment, had never been more turned on in his entire life. He had something special here, and he planned to take full advantage of the situation in due time.
Young, what is happening? I specifically signed up for not this.
Going.
Okay, I'm pre-reading here.
You do that again and I'll go underworld on ya.
Alright, this one's safe. Chapter 3, Shrek Gets Fired Up. Shrek was crowned a hero by the Royal Council of the Mushroom Kingdom for his brave acts against the evil King Koopa, Bowser. He felt truly honored and went out with the Mario brothers that night to celebrate. Pints for everybody, on me, Shrek exclaimed to the denizens of the tavern. Many drunken laughs were shared, and Shrek had just about completely forgotten about Shadow and Junior. Luigi felt conflicted. He never had these kinds of feelings for someone before. Shrek was so heroic and courageous, how could he compare? Top it off with the fact that Shrek had just come off another relationship, and his chances of ever romancing Shrek dwindled more and more as time went by. But that was the least of his worries, as he would soon discover. There had been reports of strange disappearances all over the kingdom, ranging from simple blocks being out of place to full-blown buildings vanishing into thin air. Shrek didn't think much of it until something horrible happened. "My onions!" he cried out. "My entire crop! It's all gone! Right over my head!" I hate myself. And indeed, that was true. The onion garden he started in his room was completely gone. Not even a single layer left, Shrek sobbed. That's it, he choked through his tears. I'm gonna find the Farquaad responsible for this and give him an ogre-powered beating like he'll never forget. Shrek blasted All-Star by Smash Mouth from his MP3 player and bursted out of the house. Luigi heard the commotion and followed, afraid Shrek would soon be in grave danger. Shrek, Luigi called. Shrek, wait up. Shrek screeched to a halt and allowed Luigi to catch up. Why do you want to come along, Broger? Shrek asked. Because, Luigi said. I care for you, and I don't want you to disappear like everything else. He stared into Shrek's eyes and teared up a bit. Shrek understood how he felt and let him come along. Shrek pulled out his Onion-matic 3000, his specialized onion detector. There were many like it, but this one was his and his alone. He set the range to extra-dimensional and followed the trail. He and Luigi were led to a giant stone structure. The entrance was blocked by foliage far too thick to simply pass through. Wait, I got an idea, Luigi exclaimed. Wait here, Shrek. Luigi set off, and Shrek calmly awaited his return. When he finally did, he had brought with him 2 odd-looking plants. These are fire flowers, he told Shrek. One bit of these things and you'll get super fire powers. Shrek liked the idea very much and scarfed down one of the fire flowers whole. He felt an odd, yet comfortably warm sensation in his belly. His clothing turned white and green, and his hand suddenly shot out a burst of flame at the foliage, which was immediately burned to a crisp. Now that's what I call Shrektacular, ladda, Shrek said. Luigi donned one of the suits himself, and they set off into the structure.
This is being recorded, so we will have this on YouTube probably next week. This weekend is basically shot. Oh boy.
Chapter 4, The Shrekening.
You did not plan this out. That's too perfect.
It's a pretty common pun, though.
Yeah, well, that's true, but okay, continue.
It was dark and damp inside the structure. Luigi would normally be scared, but not with Shrek by his side. My Onion-matic 3000 is picking up a strong signal dead ahead, Broger, he told Luigi. Whoever or whatever is causing all of this is right, though. This door! He pointed towards a rickety wooden door. Shrek slowly opened it, and he and Luigi found themselves in a psychedelic and disorienting room, filled with twisted walkways and blue orbs encasing many of the objects and people who had disappeared, including Shrek's onion crop. In the center of the room, an all too familiar figure stood, waiting. Hello, Shrek, the figure said. It's been a while. What? No, it can't be Shadow, Shrek cried out. In the flesh, darling, Shadow replied. It's not only me, though. Shadow held up Shrek's own flesh and blood, Junior. Son, what has Shadow done to you? Junior was encased in a tight blue force field, keeping him from escaping. He was pretty battered up. Oh, my God, Luigi finally said. All right, Shadow, Shrek said. What is it you want? I simply want you, darling. And if I can't have you, then the entire multiverse must pay the price. Shadow then opened up a green rift and fed it some of the blue orbs floating around the room. It grew larger and shook the room. There's an alternative, however, Shadow said. If you enter this rift with me and Junior, then I shall spare the multiverse, and we'll be able to live happily in our own little plane of existence. Ogre my dead body, Shadow, Shrek said. How about your little friend's body? Shadow asked. Shadow assaulted Luigi with an onslaught of chaos spears. Make your decision, honey, Shadow insanely cried. Shrek had no choice. He couldn't sit here and let everybody die over his want for a better relationship. I'll do it, Shadow, Shrek said. All right, then, Shadow stopped assaulting Luigi. Come along, Junior. Shadow and Junior entered into the rift. Shrek solemnly turned to Luigi. I'm sorry, Broger, but I have to go with Shadow. I can't let everyone die over this. It's okay, Luigi sniveled. I understand. Just know, though, I'll always love you. Shrek nodded. I'll cherish our time together forever. And with that, his time there was over. He leapt into the rift. The room almost immediately reverted back to the empty space it once was. Goodbye, Broger, Luigi said.
Donkey! Oh, right! My burrow blast!
You got it, you got it.
Chapter 5, A Whisper in the Night. Luigi sat on his bedside. His brother was fast asleep, most likely dreaming of an Italian cuisine. Luigi, however, had been awake for hours. He couldn't stop thinking about Shrek. He decided that a good night's sleep might deter those thoughts from his head, so he laid down and tried to get some shut-eye. Suddenly, he heard a voice whisper in his ear,
Pepper spray on me.
"It's not over yet, ladder!" Luigi sat straight up and witnessed a green figure escape out of the window. He slept happily that night.
And thus ends Super Shrek Brogers. By Hayden64. Published on September 2nd, 2013.
That
A
tickled.
day that will live in infamy.
Great job, guys!
Young Tungsten in Sicily, I hope you are happy.